Hello, hockey fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 3:25 on the afternoon of Friday, 23rd December, 2022, North American Eastern Time. This particular day is the last day of games Eastern Time to feature NHL games before a 3-day break for Western Christmas. So on that day, thought I would do is recap just games that have been postponed, whatever, and at least among those affected Canadian teams. So the Senators home game against the Wings was postponed to a later month by the NHL. I believe it was February. I have to look up the official announcement, but also look at the game coming up on a Friday featuring Canadian teams. We have a Jets road game against Capitals. Will be on TSN as usual. Habs and Stars on TSN, the road game for the Habs. So the Jets game will be in Washington. Expect to start a bit after 7 Eastern Time, after taking into account pregame ceremonies at Capital One Arena. Then it'll be at American Airlines Arena, whatever it's called, in Texas, Dallas, slightly after 8 Eastern Time, after pregame ceremonies are taken into account. And then we have, those are on TSN, different TSN channels. I forget which ones they are. I have to look them up, but also look at the Canucks. Road game against the Oilers, 9 on Sportsnet Pacific. Probably blacked out outside of the Canucks and Oilers regions. And Sunday after 9 Eastern Time, and then we have the Flames road game against the Ducks, starting a bit after 10:30 Eastern Time, after taking into account pregame ceremonies. So yes, it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, going to be doing at least some switching. See if the Jets can rebound from having lost in Boston against the local Bruins squad. Get to those in a separate video on Western Canadian teams. And but again, what I would do is focus on the Eastern teams and how they've been doing. But before I go, I thought I would mention that on this, I do mention a bit more in a brief Twitter video on the status of various Canadian teams in the East and West. So in terms of the East, Leafs are Leafs with a 70.6 points percentage via 48 points over 34 games are in a top 3 divisional spot, 7 points up on the Lightning for second, 6 behind the Bruins for first, but not likely to get the Bruins this season, but whatever. Bruins and Panthers pretty much have switched places in terms of top 3 divisional spot. The Bruins finished in 4th, finished outside last season on top 3 divisional spot. The Panthers seem to be fading, so who knows what's going to happen. Leafs are in the top 3 divisional spot, well ahead of the 35 points in 32 games Detroit Red Wings, 54.7 points percentage, and a record in terms of points in the last 10, 8. So when it comes to but further down we have the Habs with 33 points over 33 games, 7 points, 7 out of a wild card spot. So that's not good. But yes, sure, the Habs are just one more point up, one more point behind the Lightning for a top 3 divisional spot. But again, whether it's a wild card or top 3 divisional spot, things will look good for the Habs. Senators, after an overtime loss to the Caps, ended up losing ground on the Caps. Well, albeit by 1 point as opposed to 2. But still, Sens season has not been great. Sens find themselves dead last in the Atlantic, but in terms of the conference, they are 8th in the wild card race. Whose top 2 are the only ones that will get to make it into playoff spots. So, thought I would do, see how November went for the Leafs. So, 1, 2, 3. There are a couple of indeed. Not since the California road trip have Leafs managed to, had the Leafs managed to lose a game in regulation, or at least more than one, before this week, or before to be last week. Yeah, okay. So Leafs have only lost 3 games in regulation from November onward. So how many points have Leafs earned? So, okay, you have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, not 10. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. I forget. All right, if you have 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25. So Leafs earned an impressive 25 points in November. 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. 38 points the Leafs have earned. So how many points have 38 points from November onward? The Jets are the only team who have come really close to have earned more points during the entire season than the Leafs have earned just from November. That's 43 points. The Oilers have equaled the Leafs, but have taken an entire season to do so. And that's 34 games, so I'll get to those a bit later. But I thought I would do is the Habs expected to rebuild. Let's see how the Habs done. The Leafs didn't do amazing in October. Let's look at the Habs. All right, so we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 points over 9 games in October. Let's see how the Habs did in November. So, wow, they did do very well. All right. How many games did the Habs play in November? 3, 6, 9, 13. So how many points did the Habs earn during that time? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So the Habs didn't do amazing, earning on average a point per game last month. What about December? So we have the games of okay, 1, 2, 6, 9, 11. Got 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So yeah, a little bit. The Habs have played one more game and they've earned points this month. Not great. Now we're going to look at the Senators and how they've done. October, after exhibition games, looked pretty good. Well, they end up winning 4 straight games and having earned 8 points out of a possible 12. And then they end up losing their last 2. And in November, winning consecutive games was extremely difficult to do. They ended up doing so only once, 25th and 27th, when they were in California against the Ducks and then the Kings. And the latter of the two was in overtime. December, they started off with 2 straight wins, and then kind of split the week of 0, 1, 3. So 3 points during the first full week of the month. During the following week, it was a sweep. 3 straight games, and now they've lost 3 in a row. Wildly consistent. So again, these Sens aren't doing great. And it's no surprise they're not much further ahead than they were last season. They're starting to fade. We'll see what happens with no further games scheduled for them. Well, the Habs have a chance to salvage something out of the remaining game. But again, that's against the Dallas Stars over at the American Airlines Arena, slightly after 8 Eastern Time this evening, after taking into account pre-game ceremonies. In a subsequent video, I do plan to talk about the Western Canadian teams and where they're at as Western Christmas approaches. Keep in mind that Christmas is celebrated a little bit differently within Eastern and Oriental Orthodox denominations, in particular those across those countries that still use a Cyrillic alphabet, among them Serbia, North Macedonia, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. And go Leafs go.